All right, welcome in to the very first episode of Talkin Trash. I'm the Trashman, and I'm here with my co-host.
Hi, I'm the co-host. My name's Baeginning. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
What we're gonna go through here today, we're gonna try to kind of establish this as a bit of a seasonal anime updates and awards we're gonna be trying to give it out. We're gonna try to be giving out throughout the season. We're gonna kick off this series here, episode 1, by looking back at the winter 2021 series, which, I mean, for anime fans was ridiculous. Just absolutely loaded.
Yeah, I mean, they really started off with 2021, bringing in like a bunch of like power sequels and things that people were excited for. It was just like great way to start 2021 for anime fans.
For sure. So we're going to go through that, and then in the future we'll try to keep up with some of the other seasons. I know spring just started, so we'll try to get into that right away and keep this going as a regular thing. Before we dive into some of the shows we just got through in winter, I want to hit on some big news that happened over the first few months here in 2021.
A lot of good stuff.
Tons of sequels and spin-offs and stuff announced. We got Demon Slayer getting a sequel following on the movie, which is getting a US release, I believe, next week.
Yeah, most of the time I feel like it's like six months to like a year before we start getting it dubbed and into America.
Yeah, it's sometime here mid-late April. Devil's a Part-Timer finally got announced for season 2, which is awesome. Been waiting for that forever.
I'm gonna have to rewatch that one because while I remember it being good, I don't remember enough of it. So that'll be like a refresher when that comes out. But I'm excited for it.
We got Shield Hero, which seasons 2 and 3 were announced when season 1 ended, but it looks like it's finally coming.
Yeah, and I mean, Shield Hero is definitely one of those, at least for me personally, one of those like higher up isekai. While there were definitely moments that were very frustrating to watch as an isekai, at the very least, I was looking forward to it more than a lot of the isekai that have been coming out lately.
I agree. I think Shield Hero is one of the better isekai we've gotten recently. Dr. Stone got a sequel announcement right at the end of its last episode as well.
Makes sense. Very highly acclaimed.
Yeah,
I'm a big fan of it personally.
yeah, that was pretty expected. And then I saw some news for a Steins Gate something. I don't think it's going to be an anime again, but some spin-off or another game or something is coming for Steins Gate, or at least the semicolon universe. We'll see what that is.
Yeah, that's gonna be really interesting. I mean, they sent out this like teaser tweet and they kind of just like gave us these digits and stuff like that, but we don't really know too much more as of right now. But I'm Steins Gate, and that whole semicolon saga is always just like a very fascinating one to dive into. And I have no idea what to expect.
Fascinating is a great word because it's not necessarily always good.
Yeah.
Steins Gate is phenomenal, but some of the other ones that aren't Steins Gate are just not.
At the very least, it'll put eyes on it. Whether they're eyes that are going to be acclaiming it or not is to be determined.
Yeah. Hololive also did some Steins Gate-esque bullshit where they just kind of like put out some trailer. I don't know if we're getting like a VTuber anime or it could be a gacha game. I have no idea, but Hololive alternative is gonna be something. If I cared more about
world of 20 and 20, yeah. Look. Hey, you're gonna care about VTubers? Maybe I want to become a VTuber. I'm debating on it.
Get in the anime.
Yeah. I'm just gonna turn into Sword Art Online.
God, please no. Sword Art Online Progressive's coming out. I didn't write that in the news block, but it's coming.
Yeah, that got announced though, like pretty much like right after the last season ended.
And then I think this, for me personally, is probably the coolest piece of news. It's Koyaharu Gotoge, which I probably ruined. The author of Demon Slayer made the Time 100 most influential people, which
feels, yeah, it feels interesting.
Yeah.
Like I feel like if we're gonna take a mangaka, I feel like
First
I
one
wouldn't
ever.
have thought like Demon Slayer's mangaka. Like you gotta take like maybe like Oda, like One Piece. Like I feel like that one is more influential in its own way. Like it feels very recency bias to Demon Slayer, which, in my personal opinion, not to delve into spoilers, but like the manga series kind of fell flat towards the later half,
Mm.
and so it just feels weird that like that's what gets up there. But super cool to get the recognition nonetheless.
Yeah, that's how I kind of feel about it. Is this even the most influential mangaka? Probably not. I don't think that's controversial to say. That probably isn't. But it's cool that manga and anime in general are on that list and being recognized in some way.
Yeah, I mean, if I remember correctly, what is it like the last like major awards for like television and anime? I'm pretty sure there wasn't like a single anime movie that was even listed under I think it was Golden Globes or whatever, but
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
think
even
so.
think there was a single one that was like listed under there and they've never won, and it's almost like
Yeah.
there's a hesitancy towards recognition of anime and manga in the West. So it's nice to see that there is at least something coming out from Time magazine.
Yeah, I mean, if some of the anime movies we get don't get nominated over The Boss Baby, there's a problem. And
Yeah.
all of that, I thought I thought that mangakas being in the Time 100 would be the big news of this episode, but of course, was it Sunday? We get the news that just washes everything else away and nothing else matters anymore. We're getting JoJo's Part 6 Stone Ocean anime finally
Best
here.
girl Jolene coming in. Oh my god. I read part 6 back at the start of quarantine and I absolutely fell in love with part 6. It's definitely like my favorite one. I literally turned to my head right now because I have a Jolene poster sitting on my wall to the side of here. Like part 6 is definitely my favorite so far and I'm very much looking forward to that adaptation.
I have not read any of the JoJo's manga, so I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to watch it as soon as it comes out, but I'm going in totally blind.
Yeah, I did that for the first 5 seasons that or 5 parts that we've had so far. So this will be the first time that I'm actually like gonna be able to watch it knowing what to expect and watching the adaptation for it. So it'll be a different feel for me, but it'll be really interesting.
All right, and with that being said, we're going to transition into our seasonal awards here for the winter season. We're going to go through our sleeper of the season, what we feel was either the most underrated going into the season that ended up just really blowing us away, or something that even still at the end of the season no one seems to be talking about. The most overrated show, which kind of speaks for itself, show that probably got way more hype than it deserved to. Maybe wasn't as as good as people made it out to be. Our dumpster fire of the season, the X Arm Award, and anime of the season, which again speaks for itself. Just what we thought was hands down just the best anime to come out in winter of 2021. Chloe, you want to kick us off with your sleeper of the season?
Yeah, sure. So I'm gonna start off with talking about Horimiya because that's definitely my sleeper. And this was one that I didn't intend to watch early on. So a little a genre TLDR on what Horimiya is that it is a slice of life romance, your typical one, and that's kind of like what I've been like diving into. But actually, when I say typical one, it doesn't feel like it is because it really feels like not only are you getting into like the lives of these characters and you're seeing them develop, but you're also really getting these like intertwining stories with their side characters. So it is a bunch of high school students and it's learning about like the romance life of two of the main characters and watching that develop. But I didn't have any initial intention of watching Horimiya, but over time I started hearing really good things about it. And like the manga itself, if you go onto my anime list, is popular. Its popularity is number
Yeah,
12 overall on that.
yeah,
So like it was very well like hyped going into it, and I think it did a great job from just overall watching it, to the my anime list fans, they've given it an
yeah.
8.34, and I think that if you're somebody who's hesitant because I'm sure there's enough slice of lives out there, there's enough romances out there. This one really does its due diligence, and I think that it is a very good one to look into and watch.
It's so weird to me seeing it as the 12th most popular manga on my anime list. Like, it has no business being in the sleeper category. It should have been the most hyped thing to come out in years.
Yeah.
But no one cared until
I
like
literally had no idea until maybe 6 episodes in how popular
yeah,
this
I
really
didn't hear
was.
about it until like 4 or 5 weeks in. I was like, wait a minute, this is people are talking about this. Oh, it's one of the most popular things ever written.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I'm pretty sure, like, I waited to watch a little bit, and I'm no exaggeration, it was 10 episodes one night, because I was
Yeah.
just like, "I'm having a great time with this."
I have no idea how that one went under the radar.
Yeah.
My pick for most underrated, my sleeper of the season is Wonder Egg Priority. For me, it it was like an experience watching it. Like it's just so different, even though it is pulling from a lot of things we've seen before. It did remind me of the like Madoka Magical Girls, but a little darker. The colors, the topics, the themes, everything about it was just visually beautiful, but also tonally very dark. Um,
Y Yeah, I mean, for forewarning, and this is even, like, I personally haven't watched it, and I'm gonna try to get myself to, but, like, they will go into themes that are more sensitive towards people, and that is definitely, like, I think one of the things why got considered as a sleeper, because it is one of those darker toned animes that delves into more sensitive subjects. But with just you talking to me about it, like, I'm looking forward to watching it if I can get myself to.
yeah, and it's something I did want to bring up. Because I can understand having difficulty watching something that has topics like that, but it does it in a way that just it feels like it's having that impact, and it can be difficult to watch, I'm sure, but it's done well enough where it's praiseworthy. Like there's other series that do things like that, and it's purely for shock value or just like throwaway garbage. Like every horror anime ever that does it. It
Yeah.
does it terribly. Wonder Egg is like it's more Madoka than anything. Yeah, it reminded me of like Madoka or like even maybe even Perfect Blue, where it's tough to watch, but it's worth it.
Yeah, Perfect Blue is, I think, a great comparison, because that's one that I haven't been able to even jump into watching for that same exact reason.
Mhm. I also want to give a shout out here to the underrated category for Mushoku Tensei Jobless Reincarnation. I did not watch it. I don't know if you watched it.
No, I have not checked this thing out at all, but, like, looking into it right now, I mean, ranked popularity, like, it looks like it's something I missed out on, clearly, because it looks like it's something that, is pretty well received over in the My Anime List land.
Yeah, it's I mean, YouTubers talking about it, Reddit. Like it seems like it's everywhere, and it's one that I guess both of us missed out on, which is one of the reasons why I wanted to have this category because I'm sure there's a lot of great stuff people are missing out on, and if we can shed some light on it, that'd be great. And I think this one would fit in the category if either of us got around to it.
Yeah, I mean, if anything, what this specific category is kinda telling me is that I didn't do my due diligence, and I need to watch even more than I was.
It's so hard. This season had like 10 shows that were must watch.
Yeah, and I think, like, even next season feels like there's gonna be a good amount there, but we'll focus on that for another episode.
And now transitioning from shows that you didn't hear about that you definitely should have watched to shows that you probably did watch and we're probably going to upset you just talking about.
Yeah.
This is not a category you want your shows to be in.
Yeah,
Um
no. You wanna start this one, or am I starting this one
I
again?
don't know cuz I know what your pick is.
And I know what one of your picks is, and I disagree with one of your picks, but
All right, well, let's start with mine and we can fight about it and then we can shake
okay.
hands later on yours.
Alright, sounds good.
My pick for overrated show of the season is Doctor Stone season 2. I was not a fan at all. I actually was so disappointed. I gave season 1 a 7. I thought it was above average. It was a good show, and it had so much potential to go up from there. And I feel like season two rushed every invention. I feel like it took away all the fun of watching the science happen. Where season one, I think it was like 2 or 3 episodes to make a light bulb, 2 or 3 episodes to make ramen, and then season two we get a full tank, and then they armor the tank all within 5 minutes. It's like, stop.
To that point, I do understand because it's funny because you were talking about pacing, and so to preface, I read the manga. I caught up to it as soon as season one ended. I read it weekly when it comes out, so like I know what's happening with this, and I thought they actually did a great job overall in terms of the 13 episodes pacing for it. I thought that they did a great job for the arc as a whole, and I can understand your point of the escalation that they've made. I guess to me, it's one of those things where like once you start to develop certain things, you have that baseline and you've created Senku as this master genius that he can figure out how to do these things. So once he has like basic materials and a foundation of people, I guess the escalation to me didn't feel far fetched.
Yeah, I thought it was a little too much, and I think something about the Senku Tsukasa rivalry as the plot, and like what's his name? I'm sorry, Tsukasa as the antagonist feels odd to me, because the show kicks off with this ray, this screen like curtain coming and encasing everyone in stone, and they're locked in it for thousands of years and whatever, and they get out of it, and it's this scientist versus caveman battle, and I feel like there's just not nearly enough plot or even idea. Like, they don't even talk about it. Maybe once or twice they've talked about it in the 30 something episodes of Dr. Stone, of, hey, by the way, what was that that caused this? How do we fix this? How do we get past that? And I don't know. I feel like I don't want to say it was unnecessary, but the Tsukasa Senku butting of heads felt like a bit of a detour more than it should have been, instead of the central focus for
Yeah,
me.
okay. To that point, I think yeah, there definitely is a detour. It's hard to divulge or give too many opinions, obviously, when I have read everything, and I don't want to overspeak and be especially because I know that this is a rather well received. I don't want to say beloved, but almost beloved series. So I don't. I think your pick of overrate will definitely get to people, but I don't want to spoil it to the people who are listening because you do
Yeah,
bring up good points towards it.
yeah. I'm trying to stay away from spoilers, even on the anime.
Yeah.
If someone
Uh huh.
hasn't watched it yet, if you somehow haven't watched Doctor Stone, but you're here, I don't know how. I don't know how you've come
Go
to that
watch season one at
conclusion.
the very least. At the very least, go watch season one.
And
Yeah.
your I mean, I don't know if I want to call it the unanimous pick for overrated show of the season, but the more agreeable pick, I guess.
Yeah, definitely the more agreeable pick. We might as well just rename this award because it's the Promised Neverland season 2. There's just no way you can't say that one. Like, I'm sorry, it's an easy answer, but it was my answer as soon as like episode 4 came out. I dropped that shit so quickly. And there's just one easy thing to say about why I did it. It went anime only. As somebody who, after season 1, read the manga, caught up to it, read it weekly, I looked forward to season 2, and I think let me go back to our conversations that we had because there was a tweet that summarized it, and it was over the course of about 6 episodes, they went through 140 chapters.
Yeah,
They speed ran an anime that didn't need to get speed ran.
they absolutely did. They one one episode they're getting like raided, and then the next episode they wake up somewhere else, and I didn't know who two of the characters were until like later I realized, oh, we're like 3 years in the future.
And the worst part is that raid in itself was out of place in the. Mm, they removed an arc that manga fans unanimously said is the peak of the anime, and you don't even put that part in there. And, like the manga itself
Mhm.
falls down after a certain point. It's not that
Yes.
great
I
towards the end, and the arc that everybody loved just didn't exist.
I have heard that as well, that the manga readers weren't happy with the ending of the manga before
Yeah.
the anime outdid
No.
it.
Yeah. Literally, it's the thing that I have heard to compare the Promised Neverland season 2 is it is gonna be Tokyo Ghoul Route A of the 2020s. And you don't want that title.
No, no, no. You don't want to be Tokyo Ghoul anything.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
yeah. I did finish the Promised Neverland season 2. That's
I'm sorry.
that's what I do here. um, it the last like 2 episodes, one of them, if it wasn't for like the brand name of Promised Neverland, I would have thought it was one of the shitty horrors I watched for the dumpster diving series I did in October, where it was just like maniacal laughter and no plot.
Yeah,
And
and
then the last episode was a straight slideshow. They
yeah, from what I heard, they
oh
like the budget just died, and you could hear that like people just weren't even wanting to work on this thing anymore once they saw the direction that they had to go. And like I could spend 30 minutes talking about the manga and the what the anime could have done, but I don't need to waste your time with that like you wasted your time watching an entire season of this.
absolutely not. And on that, I think
Yeah, it's also my dumpster
yeah,
fire,
I
so
think it's a good
you don't
time
answer
to
me about
mention your
that one.
dumpster fire. Oh
Yeah,
man,
dumpster fires, overrated. You're just clumping yourselves up right here.
it,
I know you have a different one, which thank God because you have an equally bad dumpster fire in its own reasons, but yeah, no,
man,
Promise Neverland, dumpster fire, overrated,
I don't know if I'd
garbage.
say it was equally as bad as X Arm. X Arm X Arm is legitimately the worst thing I've ever watched. Like that's not even like
No, I believe you. I mean, it's bad when there's TikTok trends that are like, all right, here's my bet for you. Can you sit through 10 minutes of X-Arm? And people can't do
do those
that.
bets pay out. I,
No, because you
I got
lose those bets.
I got a playlist to link them.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean X Arm. I think if you go on Mal and like go as far as you can, I think it's rated higher than Skelter Heaven, and that's it. I think that's the only thing X Arm is higher than. It's lower than
I mean,
Mars of Destruction.
yeah, I mean, if we take a quick peek here, eh, so in the grand scheme of things, I know I called a dumpster fire of Promised Neverland, which to some people probably yeah justified.
It was a
X-Arm
dumpster fire.
has a 2.95 on Mal, like less than 3.
It's bad. It's
And it's not even like that's after like 1,000 or so people. This is nearly 10,000 people giving it a score.
it's super low. Like it's in that tier of Skelter Heaven and Pupa and Mars of Destruction and all those like when someone says, "Oh, what's the worst anime ever?" you would say one of those. The problem is all of those other shows are 20 minutes. And they're so easy to sit through. I've watched Mars of Destruction like 3 or 4 times because I
I'm
tell
sorry.
I'm like, hey, have you seen this show yet? Let's watch it. Let's sit down and watch Mars of Destruction. And it's hilarious, but it's only 20 minutes and it's over. X Harm's fucking 3-4 hours long. It's miserable.
Just an entire season
It's
of
a
misery and
feature
sadness.
length series. It is awful, and it's not even as funny as the other
And
ones.
you talk about like slideshows and Promise Neverland. That one had a budget, and like that one was sad. X Arm was just there were moments of slideshow there. Like
It
it did
was
not feel like there was a budget for it.
it was so bad. It hurts thinking about it. I'm having flashbacks of like the screen like wobbling
It's
and
gone.
going
It
like
can't. It
PowerPoint.
can't hurt you anymore. Well, probably it can. I don't know. You're probably gonna have to talk about it for the rest of your life, but it can't hurt you anymore.
Probably will. All right, and then the actual fun category we get to talk about is anime of the season. I'm gonna kick this off if you don't mind because I think
Yeah, go right
I
ahead.
have the more obvious consensus. I mean, it would be wrong to not have X Arm as the dumpster fire. It would be wrong to not have Attack on Titan as the
I
anime of
thought
the
you were gonna
season.
say X Arm for anime of the season as well. Just troll everybody here.
For all of the wrong reasons, it was the best thing all season. No, Attack on Titan, it has to be. I know people complained about the CGI. I hate CGI, and I really didn't think it was that bad or that big of a deal. I
I
think the
mean,
good.
I was just gonna say. I mean, like when you think of Attack on Titan and it's what it's done to the global population. Like when this season aired, it was almost it did not feel like to the extent of it, but it felt almost like when Game of Thrones final season aired, with how it was just like
Yeah,
a cultural phenomenon. And I mean, unlike Game of Thrones, it didn't let down.
yeah. It it lived up to it. I'm still a little salty about it was called Attack on Titan final season up until the last week that I was like part one, bitch. It's like,
Attack on Titan nearly final season.
why would you do that to me?
They're just trying to make you put it in the anime of the season again.
I'm gonna. But like, yeah, the CGI, whatever. If you're complaining about that, you can get over it. There's enough great things happening, action wise and narrative wise. I know everyone complains about Gabby, but she's just a complete parallel of Eren. That is all she is, and you can hate her as much as you want. But I got my little Sasha hanging from my mic. I'm not a huge fan of Gabby. She's a great antagonist. That's just how it is. Like, you're supposed to hate her, but you're also at the same
Yeah, I
time
mean,
supposed to get the irony that she's just Eren.
yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where I feel like when you design a antagonist, when you design a villain, it's always gonna be somebody when they do a great job, it's somebody who you hate to watch and you want to see their almost like just want to see their demise already. And I think that like that's a great sign of like story writing to me.
Yeah.
And I mean, on the topic of where that's your anime of the season, now we have honorable mentions, but my personal one is another one that I'm sure a lot of people probably put up there, and that's ReZero season 2. Because that in itself, like, I I feel like there is this obsession towards ReZero to a lot of people, and there's definitely waifu related reasons and then legitimate related reasons. And as somebody who loved season 1, I remember that was one of like before the pandemic hit, that was one of those anime that we sat down and we watched together
Mm-hmm.
because back when we were in college, because that was just like one of those ones that we both looked forward to watching weekly, and it was the same thing here. And the difference with this season in particular that aired like strictly in winter because they had divided it up into two different parts just like Attack on Titan, but it took the like, I'm gonna delve into season 1 spoilers here, not too much, but like it took the whole returning to the past kind of thing, and like it was like, hey, here's your one shot, do it all here. And I really appreciated the dynamic, the character growth. There was just like a lot of emotion. I am an emotional girl, so at times I definitely did cry a little bit at those because like I thought that the emotional buildup that they had, like when there's an anime that you cannot have the opening for, and it's just like 25 minutes of dialogue, and you don't
Yeah.
lose interest in it, you know that they're doing something right. And ReZero season 2, just yeah,
Yep.
definitely my top choice.
I got 5 episodes into. I was watching with my fiance, and episode 5, I turned to him like, is there an intro song to this show? Like, it just occurred to me we haven't seen an intro sequence at
Yeah, for like the
all.
first like 4 episodes, you just don't get the intro sequence because it just dives right in.
Mhm.
And if you look, it's longer than your average episode of
It
anime.
is.
It's like 28 minutes instead of
Yeah.
23 minutes. So you even get more time than normal to develop these relationships. And the fact that they're doing that without having an opening cutting out 90 seconds of it is just it's props to the entire animation team. It's props to the voice actors and actresses. Like, they did a phenomenal job with this season to me.
Mhm. It was fantastic. The other thing that I thought was really cool watching ReZero that, much like the intro, it didn't hit me until some later episodes, was I found myself thinking like, wow, it's been a while since Subaru's died.
Yeah.
Like, he wasn't resetting and respawning as much as he typically would. He was kind of just going through things and going through this more linear progression and figuring all this stuff out. We got a lot of flashbacks. We got the trial for Amelia and a lot of crazy plot twists and reveals for all the side characters. Everyone that wasn't Subaru kind of felt more important than Subaru this season, at least.
Yeah, and I think again, like, that just goes to show the writing and the character development that we got, that we were able to really see these characters that maybe even just got introduced in this overarching arc, that feel like we now have such deep emotional like connection to. That yeah, there's again, it's hard to talk about without giving specifics, but
Mhm.
it's my anime of this.
And as you mentioned, we had some honorable mentions. I mean, mine personally were both because they were gray areas. Jujutsu Kaisen, it's two arcs. I don't really know what season we count that as.
I
And
mean, it finished, so as like an
mhm,
anime of the season, I definitely think that it's worthy of putting it up there. But that's why I think it's like honorable mention too.
mhm,
But especially because like Kaisen was hyped when it came out, but it wasn't hype to the extent that everybody knew about it. So when you like watch episode 1, that's when everybody jumped in and was like, "Oh shit, this is fun." Like, I never watched or read Juju. I didn't know much about it beforehand. That's actually your area
mhm,
that you had read, and I ended up halfway through like 12 episodes like, I'm going to start buying the manga. And I own like the first 8 volumes. Like, I loved Juju. I thought the animation was beautiful. Character the fight scenes
mhm.
well animated. Like, I had a blast watching Juju every Friday.
Yeah. I mean, they threw the Naruto characters into the Bleach universe, gave them God of High School animation, and it was like, yeah, it's anime of the year for Crunchyroll, sure.
Yeah, and like, I remember what, like, last year there was big like fights over anime of the year because it felt like a very basic one. And Juju in a sense became basic in the sense that everybody knew about it, but at the same time you can't, like, it's hard to say it doesn't in some way deserve an anime of the year. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, you might have had other takes, but you can't say it's not worthy of it in its own way.
Yeah, I didn't like it winning the Crunchyroll Awards, but only because it was only half done. if it
Yeah.
if it was completed, then it absolutely deserves it. It is fantastic.
Yeah, so Jujutsu Kaisen, by far just like, it's one that I'm going to be looking forward to in its next seasons, because we all know it's going to get one. It's going to have merch sales. It's going to have sales. Like, it's that will be a well selling one, and I would not be surprised if it even sells well in the Western audience as well.
For sure. The other honorable mention I have, just because I didn't watch it, because I'm trying to not be a pirate, trying to wait. Beastars season 2 came out. I don't know if we want to talk about that maybe next season or 2 seasons from now, but that is coming to United States Netflix in July.
I think we should definitely circle into it in July, because I mean, B stars is such a,
Yeah.
again, I use this term a lot this season, but I think it just goes to show you how good of a season Winter 2021 was. But it's another critically acclaimed
Mhm.
anime, and for the way that it looks, the way that it's animated, the plot points to it, a lot of people are off put by it. But as soon as they look past that and they dive into it, my
Yeah.
god, do people love that anime. And I without having watched season 2, I understand why.
Yeah. No, I was one of those people. I hate CGI. I can't watch it, but Beastars changed that. Like I watched Beastars and I was all in. It is outstanding in every
Yeah,
way,
definitely.
honestly.
It makes me want to buy the manga too. Like I have recently like started diving into a lot more manga and stuff like that, and I'm very interested in buying the Beastars manga just because I know how well received this is and I want to read it.
All right, and that'll do it for us. Our first episode here in the books. Next week, we're going to be getting into the spring 2021 season. As Baeginning said earlier, there's a lot of bangers coming up in this season as well. We all know Hero Academia. We've already got, I think, 2 or 3 episodes of that out. They jumped the gun a bit on us.
As of right now, at the time of this recording, there's 2. So that we have to already catch up, and things are literally airing right now. Like, as soon as I finish this, I'm watching Fruits Basket final season.
I still have not watched a single episode, any iteration of Fruits Basket. That's your job. You report on that next episode.
Fine.
Thank you for watching. We'll see you guys.
Bye.